Good morning, I'm Trinity Chavez. It is Thursday, March 14th, and you are watching NYSE TV Live. The epicenter of global financial markets and our parent company, ICE, have been generating plenty of buzz, both here at this iconic institution and beyond. In about a half an hour, the iREIT Market Vector Quality REIT Index ETF will be ringing the opening bell, officially opening up the U.S. equity markets for the day. Meantime, we'll speak with ICE Chief Marketing Officer Stephanie Dobbs-Brown about the many initiatives and events she has led here at the exchange leading up and during Women's History Month and International Women's Day, including National Girls and Women in Sports Day, the Female Founders Fund, and Boss Beauties. Elsewhere, AI has been dominating headlines, and we'll dive into two platforms that are each making nine-figure moves. A recent guest on the show, Syndio CEO Maria Colicurcio, is using AI to provide companies insights on closing the gender gap. But on her last visit to 11 Wall, she was joined by 30 members of Journey to Lead, an organization that's on a mission to accelerate the diversity and trajectory of women in leadership by connecting promising emerging talent with the most impactful women leaders, which selects an annual class of 25 fellows each year. Over the course of the year, these fellows work with 32 Journey champions, which include prominent CEOs, chairs, and venture capitalists. I had the opportunity to speak with two of the fellows from this year's class, Syndio CEO Maria Colicurcio and Fresh Bellies founder and CEO Saskia Sarosa. Let's take a listen.
A lot of talk now about equal pay for equal work. We've talked about that a lot in the past, and it's become table stakes. But one thing that folks don't talk about as much is opportunity for advancement. And that's really where Journey to Lead focuses, is how can they help by bringing powerful women together to infuse that sense of networking and give them opportunities to think about moving forward in their career.
Saskia, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I would just say, being part of this class of fellows has really helped me understand the impact that Journey has, not just on individual journeys like our own, but in the larger community of professional women. Everything from like mentorship and access and resources, curated connections. These are all the tools that we need to help build the next generation of women who will lead successfully. And I think without a group like Journey, that's really hard to do.
And you both were selected as fellows for this year. How significant is that? What does that mean to you, Maria?
Yeah, it means a lot, because not only are you surrounded by 24 other incredible women who are doing amazing things with their careers, they're leading companies, they have high-level positions as executives at the Fortune 500. So just being in that community of women is a really powerful thing on its own, because now you have a peer set of people to talk through issues. We're all going through things in our own professional journey, and so being able to have that cohort is really important.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's the support system. It's realizing that you can't do it, no one does it on their own, and you really need this group, this tribe, to help you get to the next level, and then also help pave the way for other women to come up and lead.
And Maria, last time we talked, we were talking about pay equity for women in the workplace. Can you walk us through some of the products that you offer at Syndio to help achieve that?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. So at Syndio, we provide software to help companies prevent pay and opportunity gaps, and that's hugely important always, but also because we're about to hit the first Equal Pay Day on March 12th. And for folks that aren't aware, Equal Pay Day, the first one, is really just for white women. So if you keep going throughout the year, the last Equal Pay Day is for Latina women, and it signifies how long it takes women to earn the same amount in 1 year as men. So I think it's really important that companies keep doubling down on leveraging innovation and technology like what we provide to identify, do they have disparities that are because of something like gender or race, and how do they fix them?
And Saskia, you launched Fresh Bellies in 2016. Tell me about some of your biggest goals and achievements that you hope to accomplish for 2024.
Yeah, so right now our products are, which is a line of healthy, sustainable snacks with Latin-inspired flavors, are available in over 5,000 retail stores nationwide. And we're looking to expand that distribution and really make our products accessible to everyone, so we can encourage everyone to snack healthier every day.
What was your motivation behind it? Tell me about your story.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Ecuador, and my dad was a banana farmer and agricultural entrepreneur, and so I grew up around food and eating fruit straight from the vine at a very early age. And when I moved to the US, I realized that the way that we eat here, and the way that children in particular eat here, was drastically different than how I grew up in South America. And I wanted to change that. I wanted children to be exposed to a variety of flavors. I wanted us to be closer to our food source and to really start to eat cleaner, just clean ingredients that taste good and are fun.
And you also have an interesting story because you worked in the NBA for over a decade, and then you made the transition to start Fresh Bellies. I mean, what motivated you to make that transition, and how did you deal with the transition?
Yeah, I really thought the NBA was where I was going to retire. It was my dream job. But really, kids changed my priorities. I mean, it really turned my world upside down, and it made me want to do something bigger than myself, where I felt like I could be making an impact in people's lives. And so I decided, after I had my second daughter, I took 6 months of maternity leave and decided this was my chance to do this. I felt like this was my calling, and I gave my resignation and started it from scratch. I never thought I would do that. I really thought I was going to stay at the NBA forever.
Yeah, can you talk to me about some of the things that you learned through your time at the NBA that you carried over to building your brand, building your company, and that you implement on a daily basis?
Yeah, my role at the NBA was very entrepreneurial. So I was in charge of all of their consumer marketing, and particularly focused on multicultural consumers. So Hispanics, women, kids, any of the underrepresented, what we call fan bases. And so I had my own sort of business within the business that allowed me to be really creative, do things completely out of the box from a league perspective. And I feel like all of those just innovative approaches to how to run a business and really lead with integrity were things that I brought with me to start Fresh Bellies.
And you can watch the entire interview on the NYSE YouTube page and across our social media platforms. Now, the Exchange has played host to a number of different events over the past several weeks celebrating women. Stephanie Dobbs-Brown, ICE's Chief Marketing Officer, has been at the forefront of all of them, and she's joining me now to talk more about it. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I mean, it's great to have you on NYSE TV Live, but let's start by talking about some of the most major notable events that we've had here in recent weeks.
Yeah, oh my goodness, there's been so many. Just a few weeks ago, we celebrated Girls and Women in Sports Day, which really kicked off a lot of the events we've been doing into March, which focuses on how do you keep girls not only playing sports, but staying in sports, and then the impact and the benefit that has ultimately on female leadership later in life. A couple weeks later, we welcomed Female Founders Fund into the building, which was just an incredible event. 200 female founders, a terrific slate of speakers: Arianna Huffington, Diane von Furstenberg, Rashida Jones, Jessica Sibley. The list goes on. And then as we moved into March, we had State Street Global Advisors ring the bell for International Women's Day. And then just yesterday, we had Sally Krawcheck and Ellevest, who were here to announce the incredible milestone of $2 billion in clients AUM. So that was a really exciting day yesterday.
And you kicked off Women's History Month, the month of March, with Boss Beauties. Let's talk about this event and what opportunities it brought for attendees.
Yeah, that was a great event, and it was really, it was the perfect way to kick off the month. And so that was a mentorship forum that we hosted. We had Boss Beauties, Serena Ventures, Hello Sunshine. There were some really terrific organizations where we had representations from each of them, as well as NYSE colleagues, listed companies, and we hosted roundtables, mentorship roundtables for college students, which was such a treat for everybody.
Let's talk about the NYSE platform. What sort of opportunities does this platform give to attendees and people who come through these doors that other institutions can't?
Yeah. I mean, the NYSE is such a special and unique place. I mean, it really is one of a kind. It's private, it's historical. We have 35,000 square feet of event space for our listed companies to use. But it's also a place where companies have been coming for hundreds of years to raise capital and to grow and to really change the world. And I think that combination, it's not just a really special place physically, but it's a really special place in terms of what the NYSE stands for.
And let's talk about those events, right? I mean, the NYSE has hosted over 3,000 events. I mean, do you have any, I don't know, favorites or most notable ones that we have had here?
Well, I mean, look, IPOs and, you know, when a company lists, I think that, I mean, that is just such an exciting moment. It's an exciting moment for the company. It's a really exciting moment for us. I, of course, can't share details, although I can certainly hint at a big one coming up next week.
Okay.
But we also we host a number of events with partners. So in the spring, we're doing something with The Information, which is a leading tech platform and publication. Later in the year, we're partnering with Fast Company. And then we have a variety of different events that we host on our own. So we host board advisory councils, we host 2 tech summits, we have our NYSE Institute, we do private events on the trading floor. And so it really is a place where there's a constant buzz. There's a lot happening here all the time. And it's a pretty exciting place to get to come to every day.
And not only here, exciting things are happening around the country. In fact, next week, you and I will both be in Las Vegas as we will be attending ICE Experience. As CMO for ICE, can you share your vision for the ICE mortgage industry, why it's so important that we attend this event?
And so this is an event that we've been hosting for a number of years. It's the largest event in the mortgage space. And it's something that is really unique to us, where we get to bring together a couple thousand of our customers and our partners and really showcase not just what we've been doing at ICE, but also educating our clients and having our partners be able to work in different forums. And so it's a really exciting event that we get to host next year, and an exciting time for us.
And it's from your vantage point, right? Tech is rapidly expanding, AI is rapidly evolving, right? So as a leader in this space, how is ICE leveraging technology to really meet the needs of customers out there?
I mean, look, we're always looking at new and proven technologies that we could use and integrate to either enhance our current offerings or to create new solutions for our clients that ultimately help them mitigate risk or create more operational efficiency or just better support their own customers.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Chris Edmonds, the president of Fixed Income and Data Services at our parent company, Intercontinental Exchange, recently spoke about the role he believes high-quality data and analytics will play in the evolution of the fixed income markets. Check it out.
It is the foundation of anything that you're doing systematically, or if we go a little bit further into AI. I think we also have to recognize, if we look at the last 4 years, we've had a crypto craze, we've had a cloud craze, and now we're having an AI craze. There's one thing that misses all 3 of those crazes that have happened, and that's regulation. So I think the market's going to have to adopt, and the regulators are going to have to adopt to that opportunity that presents itself. We don't even know what it looks like yet. Every different regulatory agency has a different opinion of what it should look like. We have an opportunity, I believe, to influence that in a rational manner. What I'm most excited about is being part of the data team at the same time that artificial intelligence is really going to come into our daily lives. I think that'll be a unique opportunity, and it's something I'm incredibly excited to learn more about as we move forward. We're going to have to learn a lot about regulation, we're going to have to learn a lot about technology, we're going to have to learn a lot about use cases. In some cases, it's a lot of job security if we can continue to perform at the level that we have.
Now, you just heard Chris Edmonds mention AI as a major storyline for 2024. Insider, an AI platform that is among the few women-founded, women-led business-to-business software as a service unicorns, has made headlines on International Women's Day last Friday by announcing it had unlocked $200 million in commitment annual reoccurring revenue. Now, the platform aims to help marketers deepen brand loyalty with individualized customer experiences. In total, Insider works with over 1,200 brands, including several that trade here on the New York Stock Exchange, including Nike, Gap, and Yum Brands, a subsidiary of Pizza Hut. Now, Insider is trusted by 1/3 of the Fortune 500, and our own Judy Shaw spoke with Insider co-founder and CEO on Day Killiger about why Insider decided to announce the news on International Women's Day and what the future looks like for AI.
Female-founded companies account for under 3% of venture capital funding deals involving AI, according to Alan Turing Institute. And globally, Judy, women make up only 28% of the leadership position in customer experience industry, according to McKinsey reports. We need to change this. We need to influence this. When diverse perspective and voices are brought to the table, I believe that it's leading for the organizations to more innovation, inclusivity, equity, and better outcomes for organizations and share owners and for everyone. When we first started Insider, our mission was not only building a great and legendary product company, but also building the most socially progressive technology company out there in the world. So that's why today we wanted to prove that again, we want to be a model, courage, or reason for women to take action and start their own businesses to build enduring legendary companies, tech companies especially.
Mm-hmm. Now, last year when we spoke about Insider's $105 million investment focused on your M&A strategy, tell me, what have you been doing since then to reach 200 million in CAR?
Great question. Obviously, we worked a lot, first of all. And you know what, Judy, when we founded Insider, we wanted to build something generations. And our vision was to become the world's most progressive and trusted technology platform for customer experience. So since then, since our last meeting, since our last interview, we have improved our capabilities for being a one-stop platform for our partners, for our customers, because there's a vendor consolidation trend in the industry. And currently, we are the only company in the world, both leader in personalization and cross-channel marketing, recognized by G2, Gartner, and Forrester. And secondly, we still continue to grow more than 60%. We already have a beautiful story. We have a great engineering power, building the product in a most differentiated way, in a most efficient way. And I think this is why we have been preferred by the world's leading brands. And again, since our latest conversation, we are now working more than 1,300 brands, world's best loved brands like Nike, Samsung, Gap, Pizza Hut, Singapore Airlines, Santander, Lexus, and they are they can be counted as 1/3 of the Fortune 500 companies. And the demand for insiders continues to grow exponentially from marketers, because we believe that they recognize the value and prioritize the value of having one platform for customer experience. And they believe that it's the key to retain their customers and earning their loyalty is actually working with insiders. And also our dedicated team, they are still committed to delivering the ultimate vendor experience, best onboarding experience, best customer experience and vendor experience with better support, account management, product feedback. We collect the feedbacks, we get the feedbacks, and then we are building our culture around this to put our customers first. It's a customer first company in tech, in marketing software, and that this is actually affecting also our net revenue retention metrics pretty much sharply. So that's briefly what we have done. And of course, we continue to invest in AI. But again, I know that everyone is talking about AI nowadays.
Right. And Hande, what is your position on AI? Tell me, what investments are you making and how does it help your customers?
AI is a monumental change. And while we are talking about it for some time, I think the difference today will be we will start to see its implications in our lives. And building AI today is not, I think, about development, is not about having the talent. It's about the early adaptation. So early adapters of AI will be the winners. So as one of the early adapters of AI, what we think is, as insiders, I think a lot of companies are AI washing their positioning these days. And what I mean by that is they are looking to exploit the popularity of generative AI without really having a track record of performance, results, or strategic vision about those technologies. However, at Insider, we have been a leader in AI since 2014, before anyone was even not talking about AI. So for close to a decade almost today, we have employed a dedicated team of AI engineers, and they have already developed and trained some of the great examples of predictive AI, one of the technologies that we have launched in 2015. And as a native core platform with a 10-year of track records in predictive and conversational AI, we were uniquely positioned to take the advantage of generative AI nowadays. And let me maybe give you an example of that so it can be more clear. Through the Insider platform, marketers can use a prompt to build customers' journeys 30x faster than they can manually. so they don't need to waste time with worry about guesswork. And today, Insider is executing the most ambitious AI roadmap in the industry, as we always do, to drive more value for our customers. So that's the latest developments about AI.
And you just saw images of Doug Jonas alongside Brad Thomas, who is the CEO of Wide Moat Research, and he will be ringing the opening bell, opening up the U.S. equity markets in celebration of today. Now, switching gears a little bit, there are many players vying for the supremacy in the AI ecosystem, including Glean. The startup recently announcing that it has raised more than $200 million in Series D funding at a $2.2 billion valuation. The company's software is designed to make work life easier by connecting all of a company's data across its content, people, and interactions within the organization. The company was launched by former Google engineers in 2019, and one of them, Glean founder and CEO Arvind Jain, joined me to talk more about how his company is disrupting the industry.
Think of it like Google or ChatGPT, but inside your organization. Glean connects with all of your company's data and information, and then gives your employees one place where they can go and ask questions, and it answers those questions for them using your internal company knowledge.
Now, your background is in search. You were a distinguished engineer at Google and helped build Google Search. What role does that background play into what you're building at Glean?
Well, see, we are in this really big AI revolution today. Every business is trying to figure out how to embrace AI technologies to make their businesses better, make their business process better, make their products better. And that's where comes in the difficulty. These AI models, you've seen them, how magical they are, but they don't know anything about your internal company data and information. So it's hard to make them work inside your companies. And that's where search comes into play. Search has become the core component of your enterprise AI application architecture.
Can you tell us more about how companies are using Glean and any interesting use cases?
Yeah, so typically businesses deploy Glean company-wide to all of their employees. It's like giving them a tool, giving them something just like ChatGPT, a place where employees can go and now ask any questions that they have without having to worry about where to go and look for information. And also, employees can use Glean to actually do some of their work. You can ask Glean to draft emails for you, or get meeting notes from the last meeting that you had, things like that. So that's sort of one way how businesses are deploying Glean as a turnkey tool that they can immediately give to all of their employees. But then also Glean is an AI platform. So what businesses are doing is internally they're using our AI platform and building their own applications for different business processes that they have inside the company. Some of the key use cases for Glean have been helping engineers and developers increase their productivity, making their customer support teams more efficient by helping agents quickly resolve tickets.
AI is at the forefront of many different discussions right now, especially on Wall Street. So for companies that want to bring in generative AI into their organizations, what should they be thinking about?
Businesses should be thinking about how to deploy AI technologies inside their company in a safe, secure, and responsible way. Making sure that AI is not leaking information internally or externally, making sure that the answers that come back from your AI models are actually correct and accurate, and you don't have hallucinations, which can actually propagate misinformation inside your company.
Now, a few minutes ago, you saw the iREIT Market Vector Quality REIT Index ETF executive team signing the distinguished guest book. And this was significant because here at the NYSE, it represents a ceremonial act that symbolizes the importance of the exchange and those associated with it. It indicates the individual or organization's significance in the financial community and their contributions to finance and the business world. This index is particularly noteworthy as it tracks the performance of high-quality U.S.-listed equity securities of real estate investment trusts while ensuring sector diversification. Now let's break down what exactly a real estate investment trust, or REIT, is. A real estate investment trust is a company that owns and typically operates income-producing real estate or real estate-related assets. REITs were established by Congress in 1960 to provide an investment opportunity like a mutual fund that makes it possible for everyday Americans, not just Wall Street banks and hedge funds, but to benefit from the valuable real estate, present the opportunity to access dividend-based income and total returns, and help communities grow, thrive, and revitalize. REITs can also include office buildings, shopping malls, and resorts. And when it comes to the iREIT market vector, Quality REIT Index ETF, you may recognize some of its most heavily weighted components trading here on the NYSE. Country music fans will recognize the name Ryman, or Ryman Hospitality Properties, the hotel, resort, entertainment, and media company named after the famous Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. Weyerhaeuser is a sustainability-focused company that is among world's largest private owners of timberlands, controlling roughly 10.5 million acres of timberlands in the U.S. Meanwhile, Extra Space Storage and CubeSmart both invest in self-storage facilities across the U.S. Now, Bitcoin recently made history by trading above $70,000 a token for the first time ever. Earlier this month, Grayscale celebrated the debut of its spot Bitcoin ETF here at the New York Stock Exchange.
Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, ticker GBTC, is the first and largest Bitcoin ETF in the world, as it finally trades on NYSE Arca as a spot Bitcoin ETF. I wholeheartedly do not believe the industry would have achieved this historic milestone if not for the entire Grayscale team, our incredible partners, and importantly, Grayscale's investors. It's been quite the journey, and I feel confident standing before you today when I say we're only just beginning.
Together, we built something truly beautiful in the true iconic notion of what America is all about.
This is our task, this is our mission. We have a clear focus and we have the ability to be agile and innovate.
It takes years of dedication to get us to this milestone. It is all because of you.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has.
To be a woman leader, it's not so easy, but it's easy if the passion and the love is coming from your heart.
The New York Stock Exchange is the symbol of what America is all about. Potential of capitalism, the potential of an American dream.
The only way you can move a society forward is a true expression of freedom.
Now, I know you're used to seeing me here in the NYSE studio or on our trading floor covering the biggest stories that take place inside the walls of this famous building. But next, we'll be hitting the road to my hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada. First, ICE Experience 2024 will commence this coming Monday from Las Vegas. The event, running this Monday through Wednesday, will bring thousands of industry leaders together to unveil the latest technologies driving the digital mortgage forward, highlights developer innovations across the single platform, and bring our connected community together. And I'll be covering it all. Sessions, well, actually, I'll get into that and more when I head to the floor, but we're going to go to the opening bell right now. Well, there you have it. The U.S. equity markets are officially open, and you just saw Brad Thomas there, the CEO of Wide Moat Research, open up the U.S. equity markets again. I'm going to speak to him in just a little bit when I head down to the trading floor. But let's get back to what I was saying about our coverage in Las Vegas. So first, ICE Experience 2024 will commence again this coming Monday from Vegas. This event is running from Monday through Wednesday, and it'll bring thousands of industry leaders together to unveil the latest technologies driving the digital mortgage forward, highlights developer innovation across a single platform, and brings our connected community together. Sessions, networking events, and training courses will be available for attendees as ICE aims to help people achieve home ownership. Featured speakers at this year's event will include former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran, and the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, Sandra L. Thompson. ICE President Ben Jackson and ICE Mortgage President Tim Bowler are also among the featured speakers as well. Then on Tuesday, we will take our show to the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, where Chipotle will ring the closing bell. And according to the CEO, Brian Nicole, the company is coming off an outstanding year. During the 2023 fiscal year, Chipotle sales increased by 14% to reach $9.9 billion. The company added that its comparable restaurant sales grew to 7.9%, and digital sales represented 37% of its total sales. Now, on top of all of this, Chipotle opened a single-year record 271 restaurants, including 238 Chipotlanes during 2023. Nicole and Chipotle are aiming to top those numbers in 2024. The company is targeting 285 to 315 new restaurant openings this year, most of which would be in North America, with more than 80% of them including a Chipotlane. Furthermore, Chipotle has a long-term plan of operating 7,000 restaurants. Chipotle is currently about halfway to that mark. Now, Chipotle and MGM Resorts International both trade here at the New York Stock Exchange under ticker symbols CMG and MGM, respectively. Now, our colleague Judy Shaw was at the Houston Rodeo last week. She spoke with Chris Bowman, the president of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, about the event and how it kicked off nearly a century ago. Let's take a look.
Yeah, it began over 90 years ago. This is our 92nd show, and it began in downtown Houston. Basically, there were 5 guys that were in the cattle industry that wanted to start a show. They started noticing that in a lot of other markets, there was a stock show involved in the cattle market in Denver and Kansas City and some of those places. And so they thought, why don't we have one in Houston? And at that time, Houston was actually had cattle country, had cattle all over the place. And what we see now, and in terms of how much Houston has grown and expanded, a lot of that was pastures full of livestock. So that's kind of how it started. And then as any other successful entity, it's just kind of adapted over time. A rodeo was added, and then entertainers were added. But the key for us, what I think makes us unique, is the volunteers that do the work here. 35,000 volunteers give of their time and talent to help us. And that's what's really grown over time. And you've seen the growth of the show as a reflection of the growth of the volunteers on 109 different committees.
Now tell me, how much of an impact has the organization made here in Houston and beyond?
Yeah, I'll talk about it in 2 phases. I mean, first and foremost, one of the things that we adopted early on in our evolvement, so to speak, was how do we make sure and give back to the community? Because in our opinion, this is a community event. I hear that all the time. That, man, that's my rodeo, that's our rodeo. And even if you're not a volunteer, you're just a Houstonian, it means so much to people. And so this year, we've actually surpassed over $600 million in giving to the youth of Texas, and scholarships and premiums to our livestock exhibitors, and also grants. So obviously that has a huge impact as we're investing in students so they can better themselves. Secondly, we do a study about every 4 or 5 years on the economic impact of the rodeo. Matter of fact, we're in the middle of one right now. And we're over $300 million of economic impact to the community based on our 20 days of show. And so we really learned that during COVID, is just how many people depend on our show And so because of that, that's why we're doing the study again. We haven't done it since then to see how that's changed.
Now, you mentioned 20 days of rodeo. Now, aside from the rodeo itself, what else goes on here during those 20 days? And what can people expect when they come to the rodeo?
Yeah, a lot of people think of just the rodeo that happens each night. And then, of course, we always have a star and entertainer to finish us off each night. But at the end of the day, what I tell people all the time, particularly if you've never been here before, and so many Houstonians are moving here all the time, and so there's always a lot of first timers, that we tell people to come out early, because you really want to soak in what's going on here. The center, NRG Center's got the livestock show and shopping, and you can see the youth. We've got AgVenture presented by Oxy, one of our sponsors. We've got a carnival outside. We've got a horse show. We've got all kinds of food. And we really try, within all of that, we're trying to share agriculture and promoting agriculture. That's one of the pieces of our mission, in addition to education, is ensuring that we're promoting agriculture to the next generation of people so they know where their food and fiber are coming from.
Now, talk to me about your sponsors and the role they play in making the event a success.
Sure, yeah. Like anything else, it does take partners in the community. It takes partners with volunteers, donors, and then obviously with sponsors. And I know you guys are talking to several of them, and there's many of them. A lot of our energy sector involved with our show. They want to be a part of it. A lot of sponsors that are also associated with a Western heritage, a Western theme. But so many people and so many sponsors partner with us because they believe in what our mission is. They believe in our message. And we try to find the right sponsors that align with what we're trying to do, so we can see that it's a benefit to both entities.
And why do you think this is a bucket list destination?
Well, it's hard to explain for people that haven't seen it. And so people think, oh, it's a rodeo, but it's so much more than that. I mean, this is the biggest event around. It's hard to find one that reaches 2.4 million people over 20 days, plus our World Championship Barbecue presented by Oxy, which kicks us off 3 days before. It's an experience within itself. And so each year, from a drone show presented by ExxonMobil that we've added over the last couple of years to our traditional livestock show, there's something here for everyone. And that's what we really try to market it so.
And final, Chris, tell me, what do you see for the future of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo?
Yeah, we've been here 92 years. We want to be here for as long as we can and hopefully forever. And so we're always looking at new opportunities and new ways to grow. Our biggest problem is sometimes congestion. And so when I mean congestion, just the number of people that are here. Some days that could be 160 to 180,000 people on a very busy day. And so we're always looking to expand and push resources out in different places so people can spread out. One of the things we've seen post-COVID too is a lot of people are more interested in their experience. They're more interested in how they're going to spend their time, crowd control. And so we're working very, very hard to make sure that we can spread things out so people have a positive experience. We don't want them in long lines and some of that. So that's some of the things that we're working on. Our lease here with the Texans at the park is up in 2032. So we're working tirelessly right now to extend that and what that would look like for the future. So we don't want to break what's not broken, or fix what's not broken. We have a good program here, but we always are looking to improve. That's one of the advantages our rodeo has, is that our volunteers serve in 3-year roles as leadership. So we're constantly turning over a third every year in leadership roles, and they're bringing new ideas. They're bringing their own thoughts, and that forces us to be adaptable and forward thinking at the same time. So it's hard to say, but I promise it probably won't look like it does 10 years ago or now when we look 10 years or 20 years down the road.
Joining me now is the CEO of Wide Moat Research, Brad Thomas, and Ron Bullard, the Director of Real Estate here at the NYSE. You heard me talking all about them from the studio. Now they're joining me after opening up the U.S. equity markets. I mean, do you know millions of people from around the world tune in to see who's ringing that opening bell?
No, it's exciting. It's a dream come true. And it's just an honor to be here. And I'm happy to serve all of my subscribers and followers.
Let's talk about your products. How does it differentiate from other ETFs that are on the market?
Sure. So Wide Moat Research is really a data-driven research firm. We focus on really companies' fundamentals and how they generate profits. So earnings is really a big part of this strategy, because we're the only REIT ETF that has a fundamental-driven index strategy that selects some of the highest quality real estate investment trusts in the U.S. that invest globally at a margin of safety.
Let's talk about the REIT space a little bit more and how you led to this achievement.
As far as the REIT space, the question was what? I'm sorry.
Let's talk about a bit of the history of REIT, right? And how your journey has led to this achievement.
Great. Well, I just wrote a book, REITs for Dummies, and
actually, we have the book here right now. Ron's holding on to it.
Great.
Let's get some images of that. So tell me more about it.
Sure. So REITs actually were formed in 1960, so it's been a long time ago. It's a proven asset class, battle tested, pandemic tested. They've been around a long, long time. So we basically have selected with this particular index some of the highest quality REITs in the US. So we're investing just globally in these REITs, but their diversification is really a key part of this strategy. And frankly, a key part of the REIT investment thesis to diversify, so an investor can diversify their portfolio. Now, one thing I want to point out as it relates to REITs is that law that I mentioned in 1960 was formed during the Eisenhower administration. And one of the primary purposes for this law was to provide the individual investor, average Joe and average Jane, access to institutional quality real estate. And that's the key. Obviously, it's great to be on the New York Stock Exchange. We have SEC compliance with all of these REITs, so there's full transparency. There's liquidity. I'm sitting in it right now. We're talking about liquidity. That's what the stock market's all about. So I'm really excited about providing this differentiated REIT product to investors around the globe.
And I want to bring Ron in for this. So let's talk more about the REIT world, right? Specifically when it comes to investor relations. Where can they turn?
Well, that's a great question. And fortunately, they could turn right here to the New York Stock Exchange. The New York Stock Exchange and NAREIT have been partnering for 8 years now to bring us the New York Stock Exchange NAREIT REIT IR Symposium. And what it is, this is a forum for investor relations professionals to get together, listen to panel experts speaking about high-level topics that impact their day-to-day activities, specifically for REITs. We also incorporate a very healthy component of networking, where they can speak to each other and talk about opportunities, challenges, but more importantly, get to know each other and build that network of really great executives that they could turn to when they have questions, when they want to talk about new opportunities. This event will be held at the New York Stock Exchange on June 3rd, right upstairs in our Freedom Hall, and we hope to see everybody there.
And considering that REITs are yield-based instruments, and obviously focus has been on the Fed, where do you anticipate interest rates going and how will this impact that sector?
That is the trillion-dollar question right now. And while it might not be the popular opinion, I do believe that Fed Jay Powell is going to be very patient. I personally think that we might not see rate cuts until 2025. I think quite a few other folks might have contrary views, but I'm going to stick to that opinion.
All right, well, thank you both for joining me. I'll see you later.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to throw it to a message from ICE. We'll be right back.
We all know how important it is to dot your I's and cross your T's during the underwriting process. And analyzing all of that information can sometimes feel like you're facing a mountain of documents and data. But staring and comparing and sifting through heaps of paperwork doesn't have to be so arduous and time-consuming. Introducing AIQ by ICE Mortgage Technology. Whether you're a lender, investor, or servicer, AIQ captures information quickly and organizes it effectively, perfects the data consumed for accuracy and consistency, then uses that perfected data to automate the process. Let's break this down a bit. With AIQ, you get instant ROI on day one by freeing up your time to focus more on building stronger relationships, which in turn helps you drive more business. Sounds like a win, right? AIQ provides end-to-end solutions to reach each touchpoint in the mortgage process, leading to faster, streamlined operations and improved accuracy. Achieve up to an 80% reduction in time spent on credit evaluations and due diligence reviews with AIQ's Credit Analyzer. The patented machine learning technology standardizes the process, identifies disparate information, and captures data from every source in minutes. With the Credit Analyzer, you can feel confident in your ability to standardize the credit review process and achieve an 80% reduction in time spent. With the AIQ Analyzer, you can automate income analysis and calculations when evaluating borrowers' income. Achieve compliance and improve quality when collecting, rationalizing, and validating prospective borrowers' income history. To sum it all up, with AIQ, you can close more loans without the manual work. By leaning into intuitive automation, you can refocus on creating meaningful customer relationships that are so instrumental to success in the mortgage industry. Contact us today to schedule your demo. ICE Mortgage Technology. One network. Every connection. Every mortgage.
All right, JD Durkin from the street joining me live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. I always love when I have a chance to talk to you, JD.
It's great to be with you. Good morning. What an exciting day, too.
It is an exciting day, a very busy one. You know, we're looking at fresh producers price index data. It arrived this morning, 2 days after CPI data came out for February. What are the biggest takeaways for investors?
I think the top line takeaway with regards to wholesale prices, maybe a bit hotter than expected, and largely after CPI a few days ago came in largely in line with expectations. And CPI, PPI, two important pieces of inflation data that we study very closely because we know the central bank is studying those pieces very closely. But honestly, I think all eyes for inflation data should be March 29th. That's PCE, core PCE specifically, Trinity. For all these other numbers that might be a bit concerning, we can't forget core PCE is the one that's most closely focused on, and that's the one right now that is still closest to the Fed's ultimate goal of 2% right now at 2.8. So these are important for sure. They'll be taken into consideration, but that PCE figure from the Commerce Department at the end of the month is, I think, the one that we'll be talking a lot more about as we get a little bit closer.
Do you think that there's a sort of a disconnect when it comes to when Jerome Powell is speaking about the Fed interest rate and, you know, just what market expectations are overall?
I mean, we've said for how long, don't fight the Fed, and yet markets have loved to fight the Fed. I think at long last, though, I think the relative consistency of Chairman Powell and his message, largely to investors, has stuck on it. At this point, I think you look at CME Group, Fed Watchers tool, they say, okay, we know it's not going to be this meeting for a rate cut. It won't even be the next meeting for a rate cut once you start to get to June and July. It was interesting to watch those numbers move a little bit this morning after the wholesale print a bit. It seemed as if we kind of are punting it down later into the calendar, but I think we're still kind of eyeing that June or July window for the first potential rate cut, likely of 25 basis points.
So, honestly, though, do you think that this is accurate data, that something might happen in June based off of the CME reports?
I don't think it would be anything necessarily big, but we have to pay attention to what Chairman Powell told members of Congress just a week ago. He said, look, anything can still happen. Reaching the guaranteed goal of 2% is anything but a slam dunk, but the trend is the friend. That's as our pal Jay Woods always likes to say down here, right? The trend is the friend, and the trend is telling us that inflation, those key price points, are easing throughout the economy. The CPI data we saw this week was interesting. Yes, we do have seasonal gas prices now starting to work their way up, but a lot of those pressure points for food and housing starting to go the direction the central bank would like to see. We all have our fingers crossed that they can stick this so-called soft landing, but it at least appears as if we're heading in that direction.
Great. Well, thank you so much, JD. A lot of key takeaways there.
Thanks a lot.
All right, that just about does it for us here at NYSE TV Live. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to tune in for the closing bell today at 4 p.m. Until next time, I'm Trinity Chavez, signing off.
Iconic brands speak for themselves. The strongest brands stand the test of time. We are so excited to welcome you to our community. Today is all about you.
We've never lost sight of what we're trying to do and deliver that mission.
Going through this experience with my partners and my families has been unbelievable.
We imagined something that didn't exist yet, and we believed that we could do it.
You're going to look back on this accomplishment as one of the finest you've ever done.
I want you to know that the best is yet to come.
Just a few minutes, we'll go downstairs to the legendary New York Stock Exchange trading floor to ring the opening bell. The history here, the tradition, it's just incredible for us to be at this moment.